Black Science TV 111, Osei Kufuor. I'm back at y'all again. The Queen is here to ask questions. Peace, family.
All right, question number one. What can we expect at the UFO conference?
All right. What can we expect at the UFO conference? See, you want me to give up a lot of stuff before I might as well do the conference on camera, but nah. Before I do that, I just want to thank the universe for being able to allow me and my son to be able to build today on a much more distinct subject. Being that he's 8 years old, he's now doing things that is out of the jurisdiction of most 8 years old. Not saying that my 8 years old is better than other 8 year olds, but to be a father and see your son accomplish a lot of stuff that you didn't accomplish as an 8 year old, it makes you happy. You get what I'm saying? So as I grow and I mature and become much more wiser, and for me to see myself mirroring through my son, he makes me a happy father. You get what I'm saying? So, but what you can expect at the UFO conference, I'm going to be talking about aliens in the jurisdiction of DNA and aliens in the jurisdiction of what really exists and the things that we can't see in other parallel universities and realities. When we're talking about UFOs, we have to ask, what is a UFO? In the English definition, a UFO is an unidentified flying object. But an unidentified flying object can be metaphysical for something else. When you are studying the Bible and you go into the book of Ezekiel, you will see that they talk about a will. Now, we can talk about a will the way that the government describes a will as a will that you see in the sky, which is made by your own government. Your government has wills that they make on military bases on certain moons, because we have moons that are militaries in Dos, New Mexico. We have moons that are militaries in Area 51. And Area 51 is connected to certain transportation pyramids that go from Area 51 to certain jurisdictions in Africa. Now, we're talking about unidentified flying objects. When you study the wheel has eyes round about. And we seem to think that we only have these two physical eyes and a third eye, and that's not true. We have 12 systems in the brain, and those systems, each system is an eye, because they are an image, or they are a vision for certain planets and celestial bodies that exist underground, which is in the sky. A lot of people say, well, how can the underground be in the sky? Well, look, they had to fool you. And a lot of things. They had to fool you with their maps. They had to fool you with their globes. But the underground is above your head. And our ancestors knew this. This is why they call Lower Kemet north, and they call Upper Kemet south. You get what I'm saying? So when they tell you something that is parallel to what the reality is of what they're trying to tell you, then what they can do is psychologically, they can enslave you to the truth of that which exists. So an unidentified flying object is the brain of the so-called African. And I say so-called African because you have to remember that Africa wasn't always here. It wasn't here in the beginning of time. And we know that before Africa, we did exist still. A lot of Moors say that Noble Drew Ali said that we were Asians before Africans. But hey, the word Asian was created by man too, so what were we before Asians? Remember that language and words didn't exist at a time where we still existed. So we didn't attach any type of frequency to ourselves to suppress us or to oppress us, but we understood what Noble Drew Ali and Elijah Muhammad did. It wasn't that they were giving us lies, it was just that they were trying to give us the truth a little bit at a time, because you can't give a baby meat and expect them to digest the meat. So therefore, he said, instead of you being African, you were Asian. So he was taking you back and giving you more of the root than that which they tried to give you. You get what I'm saying? So it's not, a lot of Moors get it misconstrued and they assume that I'm talking down about Noble Drew Ali, but I'm really not. I know what Noble Drew Ali was doing. I know that he was trying to take us further away from the African tradition that was created by not the ancestor, but by the oppressor. He tried to take us closer to the root of the tree, because what they gave us was the fruit. But the fruit is not the benefits, because the benefits can't exist without the root. The fruit can't grow without the tree. It's all mathematics. You get what I'm saying? But when you study in the mind of the so-called African, we have something that at the age of 12, every African developed between the age of 12 and 13. And we'll get further into that at the UFO conference. But what we developed between the age of 12 and 13 is a system in the brain that is closer to the constellational stars. When I say the constellational stars, you have stars that is outside of the constellations, and you have stars that are inside the constellations. The stars that are inside of the constellations is the actual computer where you are getting your information every time there's a full moon, or every time there's a blood moon or a paradigm shift within the universe, or what we call the universe that you live in. The stars outside of the universe is the carriers. They are we can say the mail carriers. They deliver the information. So you have a government that is within the constellational systems. And my brother Will Kokru spoke about that. The mothers, the cancer of the mothers. This is where they are. This is where they have been. The mother of Cancer have been there, and they are older than the African language. They are older than the African tradition. They are the ones over top of every government. It's just that you have many governments within the constellational systems. In Revelations, they talk about the elders in Revelations. But the elders that they speak of in Revelations is the reptilians. And these reptilians is the ones that you will find in Hollywood living in the inner earth. And they cannot exist on top of the earth unless they abduct a body that is neuromelanated with the reptilian brain shut down. It has to be the opposite. Because when you study the European brain, their reptilian brain is already open. So they can't get into a body that's already open. But what they can do is they can play on the psychology of the Europeans, so they still can snatch their body in a sense. And we'll go further into the psychology of the reptilians on the day of the UFO conference. So, what is a UFO? Metaphysically speaking, the UFO is the African, because we are the original reptilians. Many people may look at me and say, I'm crazy. I'm not crazy. The reptilians that you see in Hollywood is a processed version. They just like that food that you take out of nature that was once original and take it to the laboratory and you process them. So you process their whole psychology. And so whenever anything is processed, it has to leach onto something in order to exist. And so those processed reptilians in Hollywood, they have to latch onto your emotions in order to exist. So again, we go back to when we're doing tours. You see Jay-Z and them shouting, throwing up their eye of horse and all of that. The eye of horse is not a problem. It's just that they can use these type of frequencies as symbols to reel the people in. Because there's a lot of Masons out here who's lost. They really don't know themselves. They think that they are getting secrets that nobody else has. But the secrets that they're getting is hidden agendas by the people who have an agenda against them. They are using them. They are Boy Scouts. It's just like they use your DNA in order to find information. And why do they use your information? Why do they use your DNA in order to find information? They use your DNA in order to find information because they don't know how to read the shifts of the paradigm within the universe when there are full moons or blood moons. Or when planet X is now giving birth to other planets. And these planets is actually translating information to us through our dreams. So therefore they have to cut on these satellites in our community that